Welcome to my channel, Life History Series. Chanakya, Indian teacher. Chanakya, also known as Kautilya or Vishnugupta, was an ancient Indian philosopher, teacher, economist, and statesman who lived in the 4th century BCE. His father's name was Chanak, and his mother's name was Chaneshwari. He was born into a Brahmin family in the city of Taxila, present-day Pakistan, and was a brilliant student who mastered the Vedas, philosophy, and politics at a young age. Chanakya was born with a full set of teeth. The monks says this was a sign that he would become a king in the future. After completing his education, Chanakya started to work as a teacher in nearby areas of Takshashila, Nalanda. Chanakya had a belief that a lady who is beautiful from the body only can keep you happy for one night, while a lady who is beautiful from her soul can keep you happy for a lifetime. So he decided to marry a girl named Yashodhara in his Brahman family. She was not as beautiful as him. Her black color became a joke. Once, Yashodhara decided to go to function at her brother's house with Chanakya. Everyone made fun of Chanakya's poverty. She was unhappy with the situation, so she advised him to meet King Dhanananda and get some money as a gift. Dhanananda, who was the ruler of Magadha, around then had arranged a food feast for the Brahmins at Pushpapuri. Chanakya also went to the feast in the longing to get a few gifts from ruler Dhanananda by giving ideas about solid India. But Dhanananda was a very arrogant king and he insulted Chanakya by looking at his ugly appearance and directly rejected his suggestions. Chanakya got very angry and promised to destroy the Nanda Empire. The king ordered his arrest, but Chanakya escaped. Chanakya started living around Magadha. During this time he became friends with his rival Dhanananda's son, Pabata, and was able to obtain a royal ring and went to the forest. Chanakya escaped to the Vindhya forest. There, he made 800 million gold coins using his technique which allowed him to turn one coin into 8 coins. After hiding this money, he went to search for a person worthy of replacing Dhanananda. Chanakya knew that he was predicted to become a power behind the throne. So, he started searching for a person worthy of being a king. While wandering, he did a favor for the pregnant daughter of a village chief, on the condition that her child would belong to him. Chandragupta was born to this lady. At present Chanakya was ready with 2 weapons to remove Dhanananda's head. If Chandragupta was among them, the other was Pabata. He gave both an amulet to be worn around the neck with a woolen thread. At some point, he chose to test them. While Chandragupta was asleep, he asked Pabata to remove Chandragupta's woolen thread without breaking it and without waking up Chandragupta. Pabata failed to do this task. After some time, when Pabata was sleeping, Chanakya challenged Chandragupta to do the same task. Chandragupta removed the woolen thread by cutting off Pabata's head. For next 7 years, Chanakya trained Chandragupta. When Chandragupta became an adult, Chanakya dug up his hidden treasure of gold coins, and assembled an army. They gathered a new army, and began vanquishing the border villages. They reached a lake while being pursued by an enemy officer. Chanakya asked Chandragupta to jump into the lake, and disguised himself as a meditating ascetic. When the enemy soldier reached the lake, he inquired as to whether he had seen Chandragupta. Chanakya pointed at the lake. As the soldier removed his armor to jump into the lake, Chanakya took his sword and killed him. When Chandragupta came out of the water, Chanakya asked him, "What went through your mind when I disclosed your location to the enemy?" Chandragupta replied that he trusted his master to make the best decision. This convinced Chanakya that Chandragupta would remain under his influence even after becoming the king. Step by step, they progressed to the capital Pataliputra, where they killed the king Dhanananda. After the death of Dhanananda, Chandragupta established the Mauryan Empire by overthrowing the Nanda dynasty. In this way, Chanakya's dream of a united Indian empire became true. At the same time, his revenge on Dhanananda was also over. Chanakya became the prime minister of Chandragupta when he became the emperor of the Maurya Empire. Once, he cut open the belly of a Brahmin who had just eaten food, and took out the food to feed a hungry Chandragupta. Chanakya used to mix small doses of poison in Chandragupta's food to make him immune to poisoning attempts. The king, unaware of this, once shared his food with Queen Durdhara. Chanakya entered the room at the instant she died. He cut open the dead queen's belly and took out the baby. The baby, who had been touched by a drop, Bindu, of the poison, was named Bindusara. After Chandragupta left the throne to become a Jain monk, Chanakya anointed Bindusara as the new king. Chanakya asked Bindusara to appoint a man named Subandhu as one of his ministers. Subandhu wanted to become a high minister and grew jealous of Chanakya. So, he told Bindusara that Chanakya was responsible for the death of his mother. Bindusara confirmed the allegations with the nurses, who told him that Chanakya had cut open the belly of his mother. Bindusara became angry, and started hating Chanakya. Chanakya, who had grown very old by this time, retired and decided to starve himself to death. Subandhu then took possession of Chanakya's home. Chanakya had guessed this, and prior to resigning, he had set up a cursed trap for Subandhu. He had left behind a chest with 100 locks. Subandhu broke the locks, hoping to find precious jewels. He found a sweet-smelling perfume and immediately inhaled it. But then his eyes fell on a birch bark note with a curse written on it. The note declared that anybody who smelled this perfume will have to either become a monk or face death. Subandhu tested the perfume on another man, and then fed him luxurious food. The man died, and then Subandhu was forced to become a monk to avoid death. Chanakya's legacy is still felt in India today. The Arthashastra is remembered to have been composed by Kautilya as a sort of handbook for Chandragupta, educating him in how to reign over a realm and empowering direct activity in tending to political worries without respect for moral contemplations. The name of the work comes from the Sanskrit words artha, aim, or goal, and shastra, treatise, or book. His Arthashastra remains an important text in the fields of economics, politics, and governance. He is also considered a symbol of wisdom and strategic thinking, and many Indian politicians and leaders have sought to emulate his teachings. Chanakya believed that rewarding those who are performing well motivates them to continue doing their best. It is important to hold people accountable for their work, both good and bad. The ones performing well must be encouraged and rewarded. The underperformers must be put on the spot. Some of the famous life lessons that he gave. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe and like for more videos.